my crafty adventures, whether knitting, crochet, cross stitch, quilting, and anything else that I wander into. If you are new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Today is August 30th, I think, and so I'm fitting in another update for this month, kind of. I actually have a lot of stuff to share, but I'm chopping it up a little bit. So hopefully after this video, I will be able to film another one shortly. So if this ends up getting uploaded in September, there might be 2 September videos or whatever. But yeah, I had a really great August. Now that I look at my dates and stuff, like a really full August worth of crafting where I got a lot of stuff done. And so that feels really, really good. In terms of a little bit of a life update, I am going back to work in 4 days or so. I went in a little bit this week just to kind of get the bearings in my classroom and open the windows, get fresh air, clean up a ton, which is always crazy how much I have to clean up. And especially now that there's a summer camp in our building, and so they use all of our classrooms. So if you don't know, I'm a kindergarten teacher. For many years, I taught kindergarten special education with a co-teacher, and we were in an integrated classroom. This year, I'm going to be teaching just me by myself and 24 little children, which they would consider general ed. But if you are a teacher, you know that kindergarten is like a mixed bag and you never know what exactly you are going to get or what you signed up for. So we will see. I mean, it's really great that I have a special education background, but that doesn't mean I'm ready to support numerous possible children by myself in a classroom without another adult there. So we'll see how it goes. It was kind of nice to go back to work and just open my window, see my co-teacher. We're both not teaching together this year after having taught together for 8 years. That was really, really hard, but it was nice to see her, get some stuff just tidied up and ready. And I don't know, hopefully things will be okay. I think there was something else I was going to say about schools and stuff, but oh yes, in terms of like cleaning up and setting up and the whole summer camp thing, oh my gosh, like on Instagram or Reels or whatever, I'm just always so mind blown of schools that like teachers are allowed to leave their classrooms set up exactly how they left them for the following school year. Like in my classroom, in my building, and I think like in all New York City schools, you have to leave the walls, everything other than what was there in terms of furniture, bare. So I have a very tiny closet in my classroom, and then I have another kind of, it's not a closet, but it has like a thing on top of it where I can put bins. And so I have to pack my entire room, walls, personal things that I bought, furniture that I bought that I don't want to go missing over the summer or get damaged. I have to shove it all like either on top of this other kind of closet-y space or in my actual closet that's not very big at all. It's very narrow. So I'm just always a little jealous of that, because it would save me hours. So I went in on Monday about 4 or 5 hours. That included chatting with my co-teacher and helping her with her classroom. And then I went in again on Thursday for like another 5 hours, 6 hours or so, unpaid, of course. And it just is really crazy. And I'm always amazed at myself of how organized I'm able to get my closet so that I can just pull some things out. And of course, I try to keep a few things ready so that they're ready for the first few days of school, and I don't have to like be scrambling for materials and stuff like that. But it always amazes me of folks that don't have to touch any of their space, and it just stays like that. This is like a constant thing for us where we have to unpack and repack and unpack and repack, and we're not given days to set up our classroom. But luckily I have good administration and they give us time to set up our classrooms, which is really, really good. Anywho, Oh, if you're still here, I just rambled for like a whole 4 minutes. I do have some knitting to share. So some knitting, this video, a little bit of quilting, and some cross stitch, which will include 2 finishes. So I might actually start with the cross stitch because I don't have for this video any cross stitch whips to show. I have 2 cross stitch finishes to show, and I'm really excited about them. So I will start with this little small one. So I did finish another Pokemon TCG card, and what was funny about finishing this one was that it was, I don't know where I put it. I must have been stitching on it when I tried to get back into streaming on Twitch like 2 years, a year and a half ago, and then I must have just left it like in my craft. There's a cup in my craft room, and it was just sitting in there, and I came across it, and I was like, I thought I finished this and gave it away, but I guess I didn't. So this is a Meowth Pokemon TCG card, and this pattern in particular I got from Birdie Stitching, and it's just stitched on some of the plastic canvas Ida that you can get with DMC threads. I really love this one. I have started to have to make some of these patterns myself using spritersresource.com, I think it is, or screenshotting some of the sprites myself from the video game. So I really do love this. I am planning on backing it. I did actually, now that I'm showing you this finish because it's going to be part of it, I did have my first flea market table. I was really excited. I'll try to insert a picture of me here. It was like close to my mom's house, and I just decided to try to sell some of these little cross stitch things that I make like this that I really might not keep, but like I don't really have a use for them, and if someone else loves it, that'd be great. And then I sold some purlers, well, had for sale some purlers, some of my knitting that I didn't care for anymore, a few little keychain things that I made, just kind of like a little variety of little things, and it was interesting. I think a lot of folks, I did sell a few things and a custom order, which I was really excited about. I did sell a few things, but at this particular flea market, I think the people who stopped by were more interested in trying to find things like at a deal or a discount. Like, I think it was kind of advertised more as like a yard sale, like a garage sale. So like, here are all these clothes, and here are like these random kitchen appliances or kitchen gadgets that I don't need anymore. Because my mom sold like an immersion blender that she just had sitting in a box. My brother's wife was trying to sell some baby clothes. And then there was me like selling handmade stuff for, you know, of course, I am never going to get a good hourly wage out of my cross stitching, but I would at least like to cover the materials and a little bit of the time that I spent stitching it, and at a price that I'm happy with. So some people saw a few items and had sticker shock, especially because they weren't quite sure what they would use it for. Some people did stop by for like nostalgia and were like, oh my God, that's amazing. So I am actually thinking of like, I usually just back these with black fabric, and people that I've given them to, I know have used them as bookmarks or stick them up on their fridge. I might actually explore how to make this into kind of like a flat fold or something that might stand up so it kind of is framed already on its own. Of course, that would raise the price of it just a little bit, and I don't know if people would be interested in that. But some people did buy some of my smaller keychain stuff, purlers, a lot of nostalgia factors. Some people said they were coming back, they didn't come back. I didn't take anything personally. I also am super introverted, and I'm not the type of person to like be pushy and make them buy something. I got great advice from my friend Brittany over at Moto Ruxin on Instagram and on Twitch, and she just said it, you know, just spark conversation. If they already know if they're going to buy something, so you don't have to sell it to them unless they have a question. So that was great advice, because I was like, I don't know how to sell anything. So I just had everything displayed. People came, people made nice comments, people looked and touched. I did have some of my bigger cross stitch finishes for sale. Like, I don't know if some of you guys remember, I might try to insert pictures if I feel up to editing this today, of like my Valley of Bowser, which is like one of my first cross stitch finishes ever. And I also had my Fuchsia City map from Pokemon up there for sale. And they weren't framed, and so I had like this feeling that every time someone came by and like touched it with their hands, I was like, oh my god, they're touching my cross stitch with like they're not clean hands. I will try to probably get some frames for those to help sell them for next time. But yeah, that just made like my heart race a little bit that people were touching my cross stitching without washing their hands, and I don't know where their hands were. Anyhow, it was fine. I had a good time. I'm really hoping to do it again, honestly. So the problem with it, and I used to have an Etsy store, is I don't want to make so much inventory that then I struggle on like where to store it in my super teeny tiny apartment. So I'm just going to make little things as I go. I wrote down everything that did sell to kind of track and see what does sell, and then I'll just remake those or make more of them or something, because I did sell one thing and I was like, dang, I should have made more of them because of how fast it went, and then I didn't have any more and only had one. So it was fun though. Anywho, in terms of another cross stitch finish, oh boy, this one is exciting for me. Oh, I don't have the book that it's from, but I don't think I need it. I finished my summer seasonal cottage by, hold on, let me straighten out my camera, sorry. That is in a book that's sold by Hirschner's that was from Leisure Arts or whatever, and the designer is Alma Lynn Hayden. And I finished my first cottage. So I am working on all of these cottages in the season that I'm in, and I finished summer, and I'm really excited. So there my summer cottage is. All the back stitching is done. It does need like a good iron. It's been folded up, and I also do need to get a little star charm or button for my little Puerto Rican flag. That's the one change that I made to the pattern. Instead of the American flag, I decided to do a Puerto Rican flag, and I'm so excited about how it came out in the end. And I'm not going to change it because my other two cottages are on the same fabric. So this is 14 count 3/1 that I hand dyed myself. I did the back stitching with 2 strands, and I go back and forth on how much I actually like that, but it's okay. But I'm really excited. These have been in progress for a long time, and I try to work on them in the season that we're in. And of course, since I'm not working in the summer, summer was the first one to get done because I just have more time to work on it. So that said, though, I have another seasonal project that I want to work on in terms of like these kind of little cute summer, fall, winter, spring kind of things. This was another book that I had bought quite a long time ago. I think it might have been at like a Hobby Lobby or something, because we don't tend to have those over here. But I remember when I got back into cross stitching, like I just went on this super crazy like buying spree of things that I would find at like Michael's or Joann's or whatever. And so I did find, and I think I found this with the seasonal cottages too, 5 seasons of quilts. So I'm super excited for this, and I got it for $1.99 because you can get these patterns digitally, and it's like $5.99, but still I got it for $1.99, and I do like having hard copies. So my plan was always, when I finished a seasonal cottage, to do the quilt for that season too. So right now it's August 30th. I am hoping, do I have the fabric in here? Oh boy, I have to find out where I put the fabric. I do have a fabric for the summer quilt, and I'm hoping, oh look, it like fell out of the book. So I just have like this plain old, I think it's a 14 count. I think I wrote on it. It's just like this, I don't know, I think I got it at a freebie table. I'm fine with it. It's kind of off-white, which is perfect because that is how it is in the model picture. So I am hoping that before summer ends, I can get started on the summer quilt. So I have a few other things I want to work on before I do a new start. But look at this. Isn't it great? I am super excited for it. Like, that's all cross-stitched. And I don't think it includes like any specialty stitches. So that's the summer quilt. And then I know it shows them on the front too, but I just want to make sure. And it says 5 seasons because it includes like a bonus season of holidays, which is really, really cute. Let me see. Or is it 2 holidays? Might be 2 holidays. Anywho, well, they're just on the front. This is the winter season. It's hard for me to see what I'm showing you guys, which I love. That one is fall. So my fall cottage is not done yet, so I can't start this one yet. But there's the fall, and then the summer. And then, I mean, I'm guessing this would count for spring, like with the Easter eggs and stuff like that, which is really, really cute. And then they include like a Christmas one, which I love, which I might actually get to start as well because, sorry, I'm just getting messages on my phone, because I will, I could start it during like the Christmas season-ish, but then I don't know if that would take away from my winter cottage. I don't know if it has to go in its own category. Anywho, that's fine. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I just saw on my phone that my nephew he just hit like the call button, and so I had a phone call appearing, and I was like, what? No one ever calls me. Anywho, hoping to start that. So those are my 2 finishes that I have to show in this video anyway, and I'm really excited about them. Next, I'm going to show, I have made this pattern before and I actually tried to sell it. So I'm going into a little bit of knitting now. I tried to sell the version I made for myself because I like the colors that I use, but it's not quite me. And the amount of times that I wear it is not really, you know, all that great. So I am making, and this project will be to donate. If I finish it in time, I would hope to donate it to next year's Stitch NJ. I thought I printed out an entire picture of it, but maybe I didn't. Let me see if I can just show you the picture of it without the chart. So I am making another sherbet fizz shawl. This is by Amba O'Brien. You can easily find it on Ravelry. And I think I had made for myself a smaller shawlette version, and on this one I'm planning on making the full length shawl. So we'll see how I feel about it when it's done. And I'm trying to use some yarn that was gifted to me by Austin's grandmother. So I'm not quite sure. It is a superwash merino, but it's by this Diwa. This is the company. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. It's not being made anymore, so you can't quite buy it. It's like out of manufacturing or whatever. And it's just a superwash fingering weight, I'm pretty sure. I think I looked it up because it was kind of hard to find info on it. And yeah, it doesn't say the color either. Yeah, just color 66. So it's like this really nice blue, and this is my little start on it. Whoops. Let's see if I can get a little bit more unraveled here. I'm not quite sure if I like how this yarn feels just yet. But hold on. I'm like watching that it doesn't fall off the needles. But I think also when I wash it, especially with some nice wool wash and block it, it'll really soften up nicely. And it'll be super wash, so it will be really easy to take care of for whoever wins it. So I've already done, I think, a 1.5, what do you call that? Repeats of the lace patterning. I'm trying to see if I can just put something white behind it, but I don't know if that's gonna help really see what's going on. Yeah, because it's also kind of trapped on my needles a bit, but I'm really excited for it. Hopefully as it grows, it'll just be easier to show you guys on the camera, but I'm really excited for that. So working on this little shawl, and I have a few shawls to make for friends too, so those will be coming up in future videos for updates on where I am with those. They're on my list of things to cast on. I'm really trying to finish a few other things first before I dive into like another another new project or 2 or 10. And then I have been working on this owlie sock, which is by, sorry, I tend to print out a lot of my patterns because I don't like working on them off of a screen. And I'm trying to find out who the designer, Julie Ellswick. I cannot pronounce the last name, but you can find it on Ravelry for sure. They have a sock version, a mitten version, a sweater, which is next because I was trying this out. They have a sweater, and yeah, I think that's it. Oh, and a headband, I think, in addition to a hat. So it's kind of hard to see, but that's them. And the owl is made with cables and beads. So it was my first time using beads in my knitting, which it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. If you look up using beads with Oral-B Super Floss, it was so easy. I could not find a crochet hook small enough to help me do it, but I did it with the Oral-B Super Floss, and it was amazing. And this was also a pattern that I had on my list. I'm trying to go through my Ravelry and do some of the oldest things in my queue if I still like them. I have been removing things, but if I still like them, I'm trying to start them. And this one I think was on my Ravelry queue since 2009. I should write it on it next time. But it was on there since 2009 that I wanted to start it, and I finally did. And I'm using some Bumblebee Acres yarn in their squishy sock base. And the colorway is Envy. And I believe I purchased this at Rhinebeck from their booth. And I think it was for this project, actually. So it's this really beautiful green. It's not quite showing up as nice on here, but I do love it. And this is where I am. Oops. So I think this is where I was the last time I showed. And so I've done the entire foot. And I'm pretty sure I am decreasing on the toe right now. So here are my owls. Let me see if I can show you. There they go. They look great. I tried to use some beads, assorted beads that I just had, and tried to pick mainly the red, orangish ones. So it's been going well. And then I just ended up buying a tube of red beads. But I really, really do love this pattern. I am really excited to make the sweater version. Isn't that great? I did omit the owls on the heel flap in the back because I think that, like, if I did decide to wear these socks with shoes or something, that wouldn't be so comfortable. But I did decide to keep them on the top because I don't think the beads will bother too bad there. And these were the beads that I decided to use. Oh my gosh, do I have everything in like a bag in a bag? Like a bag lady. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can get them out. Oh, and I have a piece of the floss there too, which I can show you guys. So I'm using these Toho beads. I just got them at Michael's or something like that. And the size you needed was 6 with a dash and a O. I'm not quite sure what that means, but. And these are the red ones. And then I'll try to show you because I have a piece of it here. Like this is the Oral-B Super Floss, which they don't really sell anymore. It was, I mean, I'm not going to say they don't sell it. They don't sell it by me, so I did have to use Amazon. And it is usually used for people that have like braces or a lot of dental work going on and that they need kind of like this kind of spongy, cottony part to help pull out residue in their teeth and then regular floss at the end. So, I mean, I only needed one piece of it, and unfortunately, I was only able to buy it in a 2-pack, so I have a ton. So if you know me in real life and come to my knitting group and you want some, just please ask me for it. I will happily give you a piece. So, because I doubt I'm going to ever need 100 pieces of it, but it made the beading on this really, really easy. So that was my owly sock, which hopefully I'm looking to finish up. It was traveling in my bag for a bit because it was one of those projects that I could travel with it depending on where I was as a travel sock. The cabling wasn't hard, the beading wasn't too hard, but now I'm decreasing for the toe, and typically I can do that on the go, but I've been keeping it home until I'm done with that part. So hopefully it'll get more work on it. Sorry, I got tangled. When I finish this sock and I can start the next sock. So that was my owl sock, and then I think that's it for my knitting, and I have some quilting to show you. So I'll try to insert a picture over here of a finished Minecraft quilt by Kelly Fanning. She did unfortunately pass away sometime last year due to cancer, but this is one of her free quilts, and her website unfortunately is down right now, but I think her husband is working on finding a way to put her patterns back online, especially her free ones and her paid ones, because they do have a little boy that he's in his senior year and it's time to go to college. And so I think there's a lot of folks in the Facebook group for Kelly Fanning, if you look it up, that are willing to buy patterns that could also help fund her son's college, which is fantastic. But I love this quilt. I started it a few years ago for Austin. It's moving along slowly, but I'm hoping to get some work on it next week or the week after. And Austin chose all of his own blocks. And what's been challenging about working on this quilt is I've never worked on a quilt like where you have to piece all of these different kinds of shapes together, and Kelly Fanning did an amazing job of explaining exactly how to do all of this. She was an amazing, amazing instructor for like online, like just making things simple for people. And so what's been happening is that as I've gotten better at making, cutting, sewing, all of that, like my blocks are finally the shape that they should be. And so I do have a few blocks where I either cut the fabric poorly, did not do a scant 1/4 inch seam, that are just a little bit too small. So I think there's only 2 blocks so far that I will be remaking. But I'll try to insert a picture. No, actually, let me show you my new ones, and then I'll insert a picture of, I think I took a picture of all of them laid out, or I'll insert a picture of what I had before these 2. I'll see what I have on my phone. Anywho, I made TNT block. This was a pain in the ass. This caused me so much rage that when I was done, I had to step away even before like I could cut the pieces for the next block. This block took me, it shouldn't have taken me, but it took me over 2 hours of just frustration, of cutting, of just silly mistakes that I was making. Austin even helped me. It was insane. I don't know why this was so hard for me. Just something hurt my brain about it, and it really was not that bad. Anywho, it did make me explode, which is great because it's TNT. But I love it. It came out great. Some of this fabric I did get from Fat Quarter Shop, which I'm so excited about. And then it was funny because this next block, after I cut all the pieces, even the cutting wasn't that hard. All in all, like half hour, 40 minutes. Not like, and to think like this quilt, she did it as a quilt along every week. So, you know, they were not supposed to take you forever to do. Oh my gosh. They were supposed to, you know, take you as long as it takes to do this one. With just less frustration. So I think this is a spider. I love it. It was easy. I finished it in no time and I was ready for the next, and I just didn't have enough fabric color. So I don't have like a stash of quilting fabric, especially in solids. So I've been buying as I go and just buying either fat quarters or trying to see what I can use from this kind of like little Amazon batch that I got. But that was crazy. Anywho, yeah. So I will try to insert a picture of what it will, or what it did look like before those 2 blocks, kind of where I am. And if I did have them, a picture with them all laid out, I'll try to insert that also. Other than that, that's it for my crafting updates that I want to include in this video. I do have a lot more, but I am going to save it for another video because we are already at a half hour. And we'll finish with 2 books that I read. So I did finish Gifted and Distractible, which is about children who are twice exceptional. So if you are not a parent, or you are a parent but are not like versed in like special ed lingo and stuff like that, I don't know how to word it. A twice exceptional child means that they have a disability like either ADHD, Asperger's, autism, whatever it is, and they are also gifted. So meaning their IQ or whatever is above a certain range, and just whatever, they're just developing cognitively at a level like way above their peers. Because I think all children are smart and intelligent, but I hope I'm going to just word it right. but not all children are cognitively gifted, I guess. That's what I want to say. And last year I did have a student in my class that I believe was twice exceptional. He was brilliant and also had a disability. And he was challenging, and I feel his family really needed support. I needed support. And so I bought this book at a recommendation off of like Facebook. It was really, really weird. I gave it a go. And I've also professionally have been looking to build a kind of parent lending library of books or articles that I have personally vetted and agree with and can put little highlights in, and that parents can borrow and I can send home in their kids' backpack as needed, and they can read it and return it. But I want to make sure I only include things that I have personally read and can speak to, rather than just like any old Chalkbeat article or Psychology Today or whatever that I find. And this was really, really interesting. I have to say, I saw some of myself in this book. I saw people that I know in this book. And I actually did I go to a lot of professional development. And not to say that other people can't get things out of professional development, but sometimes I spend a lot of money at some of these workshops and I maybe get a small, tiny nugget of something I can actually use in my classroom that's practical. And this had a lot of stuff that was practical, usable, kind of also made you feel good that you were doing the right thing for these children and approaching them the right way. It felt reassuring. So this was a really, really good read. So even if you have like a little nephew or a niece in your life that you believe, is twice exceptional, it's worth a read. If there's a parent out there that they have a really brilliant but hard to handle child, it's really worth it. I borrowed it from my library and I'm going to buy it for my classroom this year to try to build that kind of parent resource lending library for them. And then I also read, insert a picture of it. This was on my list for so long. I don't know why it took me so long. I read The Handmaid's Tale. I started this when I was on vacation in Massachusetts towards the beginning of August. It was almost impossible to put it down, but I did give myself a little break towards like the middle, like 2/3 through, just so that I wouldn't burn out and get, I forget what I was calling it, but when you're finish-itis, like sometimes I get towards the end of a book and then I'm like, I don't want to finish this right now. And then I don't finish it for months. So to prevent finish-itis, I like chopped it a little bit there and then I came back to it and then just finished it. Insane. And I hear there's like a part 2 or something. So I am going to put that on my list. I am going to finally watch the Netflix show. I'm so excited for that. It was like one of those shows on my list, but I told myself I wasn't going to watch it until I read the book, and I'm excited. I know things will be different and people will have things to say about book and the show and whatever it is, but I always take those things with a grain of salt, and I don't get really upset if things aren't like to the T of like the book, and that's totally fine. So I am excited to watch Handmaid's Tale. It's actually like something that I'm looking forward to this school year. Like, maybe having a new school year and a new series to get into and watch will be really good for me, because I am in the middle of a lot of TV series right now and I put a pause on starting anything new. But this one I'm going to give to myself to start as a new series before I finish all my other ones and start all these other series that I want to watch. But anywho, I think that's it. I actually have a bridal dress appointment that I need to leave to in a little bit. And so I'm going to leave you guys here because I'm feeling nervous about that. It's just really strange. I have went to my first bridal dress appointment. There were 2 high contenders there. There's another boutique that I really want to try on a dress by a designer from, but I don't have an appointment until October. So I might email her and see if she can move me up, because I'm so close to saying yes to a dress at this other boutique. But as my friend told me, I don't want to have regret that I never tried on this other dress that has been at the top of my list since I started looking at bridal gowns, and it was from Pinterest, and then I found it at a boutique in New York City, and I was like, I have to try this on. Because some of those dresses from Pinterest you like don't find, or they're from like some weird website or something. So yeah, that's where I'm going in a few minutes. So I hope everybody, it's just really it's just really crazy. I have to say, I went with my mom. Sorry, I'm going backwards. I went with my mom to my first appointment, and I tried on the first dress I ever tried on in my entire life for wedding gowns, or gowns in general. I don't really wear dresses, and I don't really get all dressed up. And I walked out, and me and my mom were like, this is the one, this is the one. And we were like, oh my God, if we could buy it right now, we would. Like, good thing we didn't, because it wasn't the best dress that I tried on. It was just the fact that I was wearing a wedding gown. It was just really crazy. It was surreal. I still haven't gotten like that super emotional feeling wearing any of these dresses. Like, I'm like, am I going to get that to know that it's the dress? But I don't know. It is really bizarre seeing myself in a wedding dress, I have to say. But either way, anywho, I'm excited. I hope all of you had a great August and are looking forward to September. I hope you have been able to craft to your heart's content if you are a crafter. And I wish you all a happy rest of the summer. It feels autumnal here, but it is not autumn yet. I have already had a pumpkin spice drink, which I'm very excited about, but I do understand that it is not autumn yet. So do enjoy the rest of